If I put the word unimaginably before something, a qualifier to any sense of where I could go with something, unimaginably difficult or impossible to imagine, that's a serious qualifier. Unimaginably. Unimaginably. And then let's say I add the word racist after unimaginably. Unimaginably racist. That's a dynamic duo of a combination of serious words, right? Unimaginably racist. You put those two words together, your mind goes to some real wild shit, right? Cross burnings, maybe? Ku Klux Klan on horseback, fully covered in sheets. Birth of a Nation just blaring from every subwoofer they could tow to the wagon behind the horses. To ever have uttered a sentence where you put the combination of unimaginably racist together, that would just... I'd almost be scared to want to know what you're talking about. I mean, I would think if you were using that combination of words, you would about to be telling me a story that's almost horrific, that's almost unimaginable, maybe. But oh no, not with the f***ing Young Turks. They use words, typically, generally, that mean one thing, but will lie in the way they use them. So if we remember, there was a story about a high school teen boy who had his hair in a way in which the school felt was against the rules.
Who school officials say is violating the dress code.
Yeah, this after he's already spent weeks isolated from his peers because a staff member said his hair was too long. Tonight, Devin Clark shows us how long his punishment is being extended this time and what one of the people who vote on the rules has to say about that. Devin.
Keith, Daniela, after trying multiple times to reach Barbers Hill ISD school officials on their main lines didn't work, we decided to reach out to each and every single board member. Take a look at what we got. After this report aired last night,
I won't go to class. That's all I want to do. Just get me out of ISS.
Today, 17-year-old Barbers Hill High School junior Daryl George was given another referral for in-school suspension, where he's been for weeks now. This latest referral, as seen here, tacking on 5 more days of punishment. Barbers Hill High School officials say his hair length violates the district's male student hair length policy.
You got to cut your hair. Nobody else is allowed to do it. We can't allow you to do it. We ask you to change your haircut. Goes home to mom, tells mom, they're telling me to cut my hair. Mom's immediate response is, they ain't gonna tell my boy cut his hair. Shorty calls the media, the local news media. Said, hey, they're telling my boy cut his hair. So they suspend the boy. Said, mate, well, if you're not gonna follow school guidelines, I'm gonna suspend you. Cut your hair, please. I believe they suspended the boy a number of times, because the boy and the mama wasn't gonna play along. They was gonna do what they wanted to do. If you claim racist, half the country will turn their brains right on off. I mean, complete. Whatever you say, that is the truth, and I believe it. I know everybody's heard the story, the boy cried wolf. That's truly what we got. Guilty until you prove yourself innocent, with just the mess of the power that they've given that word. Because while half the country will immediately believe it, not ask a single question about it, the other half don't want to hear it because they've seen it far too many times, where it's complete, utter bullshit. Black folks trying to set their own church on fire.
Tonight, in a case that captured national attention, a black church in Mississippi torched after someone spray painted it with the words, "Vote Trump."
Now, that happened on November 1st, a week before the presidential election. Well, today, police finally made an arrest. Fox 5 News Edge anchor Tom Haynes joins us now with new developments.
That's right, Sine and Russ, but it's not what the community was expecting at all. Tonight, a member of the very church that was burned down is in custody. 45-year-old Andrew McClinton is himself an African-American.
Juicy Smollett.
And above all, I fought the fuck back. I'm the gay Tupac.
Getting a 80-foot long rope tied around his goddamn neck as if somebody in Chicago at 2 in the morning was trying to noose him.
Including body cam video of Smollett with that noose around his neck after the alleged attack.
Once you start hearing that word racist, and just people just turn their brains off. So of course, happened upon the Young Turks the other day. Title of this video: Texas Superintendent sinks, all caps, himself with unimaginably racist stunt. But that's a chock full of something headline. So I figure we gonna let the Young Turks run down this story of an unimaginably racist stunt. Think we got the next episode of Looney Tunes, me and Looney here, folks. Saddle up, we gonna let old John Adirola let us know about this unimaginably racist stunt. Woo, hold on.
Last year in Texas, a black student was suspended multiple times for wearing dreadlocks in school, and the school said that it was against their dress code, while other people on the other side of the issue said that it goes against the Crown Act, which was meant to prevent that sort of hair-based discrimination. So all of that was bad. It got worse when the school superintendent, Greg Poole, decided to take out a full-page ad in their local paper to argue why continually discriminating against a student for having dreadlocks isn't racist, and it's not as bad, and that you shouldn't be mad at the school for doing it.
You can always count on John Oliver to give you some good faith framing. He ain't never been one to kind of bad faith of frame. I can't even finish that sentence. You piece of shit. But Lord, let's defend the negative.
So here it is. That is so many words to write about this.
That is so many words to write about this. I mean, how dare you defend yourself with more than 5 sentences? Not like half the nation wasn't somehow claiming this guy's racist, and he felt the need to defend his actions. I mean, anybody could have done that in a paragraph. Yo said so many words. I bet you ain't even read it. Why would you, right? I mean, you already know what the guy thinks, believes, and everything inside and out of him, because God forbid he try to uphold the rules. But, oh God, yo, these motherfuckers drive me bananas.
It might not be enough words to serve as a good apology.
Why would he apologize? For upholding the rules? I mean, yo, that's the school district's rules. All the children have to abide by them. White, black, any color. They all got to follow the same rules in that district or in that school. So I assume if you wanted to go to that school, you would have to follow their rules. You may disagree with the rules. You don't have to go to that school. Go to another school. You might think the rules are stupid. But if the rules are enforced across the board, and this is the only child that's having an issue with it, while he is not following the rules, the kid's race ain't got nothing to do with it. The guy enforcing the rules' race ain't got nothing to do with it. But yet, this is unimaginably racist. Just remember that word, because that was the key word in that title there. Unimaginably racist. Whew.
But it's a lot to say in support of it. So here is the argument that he makes. So first of all, not related to the hair.
Whoa. So here's the argument he made in favor of the decision he made. But here's this other part that was in the article that doesn't have anything to do with the hair.
He talks about how he's mad that the paper wouldn't run a previous article he wrote where he slammed COVID protocols. Maybe in their defense, it was like 7,000 words and they didn't want to mess with that. But anyway, on this topic, and sort of related to that, he says how poignantly ironic that the Chronicle criticizes limited dress code conformity that is correlated to student success, yet wholeheartedly sanctioned complete face mask wearing conformity that is still questioned today as an adequate defense against COVID-19. And I just love how broken people's brains are that for the rest of their life, they will have to talk about how dare you made us wear masks briefly. Anyway.
Did you just say briefly? You didn't just say broken-brained and briefly in the same sentence, did you?
And I just love how broken people's brains are that for the rest of their life, they will have to talk about how dare you made us wear masks briefly. Anyway.
Oh, you did. This motherfucker just said briefly. Briefly. I think briefly means a short amount of time. Kind of like 2 weeks to slow the spread would be briefly. Briefly would be a week. We start talking about 2 years. Some places 3 years. Some places still doing the shit. And you got nerve to talk about briefly, bro? And talk about they're the ones with the broken brains arguing efficiency, the efficacy of a mask? You see some of the pictures of people with masks like this.
Well, certainly, and even though investigators found that suspect dead yesterday by apparent suicide, the investigation into his motives continues. They were actually here at his East Village apartment earlier this morning. They've been here in the past.
Chin all moving, ain't covering shit. I'm sure that's real effective. But this motherfucker just said briefly. Briefly, John Ottarola? I don't think you know what none of these words mean. You just use whatever word come to mind. Definitions be damned. John Ottarola gonna use them all. Briefly. Unimaginably.
He goes on to say the problem with relaxing standards without any regard to academic implication is the precedent it creates. Our military academies at West Point, Annapolis, and Colorado Springs maintain a rigorous expectation of dress. They realize being an American requires conformity with the positive benefit of unity and being a part of something bigger than yourself.
I mean, that was just a chunk out of a larger paragraph, obviously. But even just that little out of context bit, I understand the man's argument. You may disagree with the man's argument, but so far, nothing is racist. Nothing is unimaginably racist. The only argument you've actually shown that the man made, other places have these rules to bring a sense of solidarity to where everybody's the same. That's why they have dress codes. That's why they have hygiene codes to make sure that ain't nobody necessarily standing out amongst anybody else. It's a group of people all doing the same thing with the same direction of getting an education. I'm just trying to understand, okay, I mean, the man might have made a comparison that you disagree with. Where's the racist part at yet? I'm just, like, it just blows my mind, y'all just have to make it racist. If this guy's white and the kid was black, it has to be racist. Y'all have no idea the damage you truly do to that word. Because when something finally happens that actually is racist, because I know there's racist, there's a lot of racists of every color, but y'all just throw that word out so much that people just block it out. People already know 9 times out of 10, you bring that word racist up, I don't want to hear it.
Notably, that's not the school that we're talking about. But he goes on to say, we're not racist. We had black people on our board 50 years ago. So
why don't you show the quote? Not just, we're not racist. We had black people on the board 50 years ago. The guy brought up a good point in that article that you won't show that part, of course. You'll show that other kind of just out of context argument that you think is a bad one. But you won't show that little clip where he actually talked about the fact that there were black folks on the school board in the 1970s. All he was saying was, there's been black people making decisions in this school district for a long time. Race has nothing to do with it. You all will make it about race, yet somehow you ain't the racist one. To where everything in the world is just broken down to race in its simplest, most corniest forms. But other people who want to be above it, who don't want to use race as any sort of metric worth a fuck at all, they're the racists. You get the math here? 2 and 2 making 19. Morons.
Isn't that good? My counter to that would be, it doesn't seem to have produced less discrimination, so that sucks.
What sort of discrimination? The rule that this one kid and his mom don't want to follow? The one rule that every other kid in the district follows, abides by. But one kid doesn't want to. His mama ain't gonna make him, so that's the discrimination. Me. Hey, you can't tell a black kid nothing. If you white, you don't tell a black kid shit. If a black kid don't want to hear it, it's racist. Racist. I'm calling the news outlet. I'm calling MSNBC. I'm calling NBC. We gonna blast you from California to Maryland. Me, bro, what are you talking? This shit burns me up, dude. It burns me up, bro. Just the way, they've been allowed to just destroy every word in the goddamn English language.
But anyway, Sharon, this sort of discrimination against certain hairstyles is hardly new.
Of course, white kids can wear their hair any way they want, right? I mean, is that the way it's worded in the rule, John? Because you have to show like the rule that proves that this is like some sort of discrimination just against black boys. Me, man.
Common across America, despite the fact that the Crown Act or versions of it have passed in many states, we see this constantly in schools, in jobs as well. It's weird that people would think that this is the hill that they should die on.
What hill that he wants to die on? Just enforcing the rules equally? Enforcing the rules equally across the board, not giving anybody carte blanche to ignore the rule that they choose to ignore. That's not the hill to die on, according to John Adarola. The hill you should die on is letting black kids do whatever they want. That's the hill. That's the hill. If you're white and they're black, shut the fuck up. Die on that hill. Yeah, fuck you. I'm not dying on that hill.
But what do you make about his argument that being an American requires that you cut your hair or something?
Wait, what? Wait, what?
But what do you make about his argument that being an American requires that you cut your hair or something?
Where the f was that my man's argument? To be an American, it requires you to cut your fucking hair. Bro, like, what the f are you talking about? What the f? Bro, you are the most bad faith interpreting motherfucker. You are unimaginably bad faith. That's a great use of the word unimaginably. You are unimaginably the most bad faith arguing motherfucker on the planet, John fucking Adarola.
I think it's brain dead because he doesn't seem to get that by forcing some to conform to a standard, it's forcing them to lose a portion of themselves.
And she's calling anybody else brain dead? Forcing some to conform to the rules. It makes them give up a piece of themselves. Wow. I mean, it's the same rules for everybody, right? We all get that. I assume anybody with a bit of sense understands these are rules across the board. So this isn't some pick and choose. Oh, okay, well, you can follow the rule. You don't need to follow the rule. Oh, no, you need to follow the rule. But you don't have to follow the rule. No. And it's not about losing a piece of yourself. Like, what the kind of thought process is that? They're talking about brain dead. Brain dead. Shorty said brain dead. Whew. Pot meat kettle.
And not other people, okay, who perhaps it's more inherent wear their hair a certain way. It's ridiculous. And by the way, you're right. It's not a military school. So knock that off. And I also think it's rich that he would pen really an op-ed against one student. You know, if something happened at the school, we'd get the response to the media would be, well, we can't talk about individuals in school. You know, we can't do this. But here he is writing this dissertation, if you will, about why he's right in all of his glory and all of his whiteness, I guess.
In all of his whiteness. That is 100 times more racist than anything that was done to this student. That one sentence, his whiteness. Could we just play a game for a second where we flip that around and somebody white started talking about your blackness? Your blackness is the reason why you're doing something? Yeah, that's unimaginably fucking racist. That is unimaginably, unwarranted, uncalled for, just insane. It's actually fucking racist. The way these motherfuckers can talk, what they can say, what they can do, and just have such a double standard for anything that they do that is ugly, hideous, fucking actual racist. But fuck me, bro. Like, this whole fucking just like, talk about, yo, he's got to do a whole op-ed and attack this student. The student wasn't named in the article. The student wasn't in his op-ed at all. The article was written in defense of why he did what he did. The standard for everybody. That was the article. Sadly, you all would just bad faith the guy the entire time. Could you imagine half the country media calling you a racist because you're enforcing the rules across the board? One kid didn't want to follow the rules. The kid's mother isn't going to make him follow the rules. So they go on a national campaign calling this guy racist solely because of his whiteness. It's actually pitiful. And because of people like you, Young Turks, and whoever else pumped this story up for the guy being a racist, you all are the ones to blame. Why don't nobody want to hear you nowadays when everything you call is racist? Because it's unimaginably retarded.
And I just think it's brain dead. Like this, you're exactly proving the point that, you know, it's all about you and nothing about anyone else who looks different or has different hair than you.
What the fuck are you talking about? No, shorty. It's fucking just following the rules. Imagine the world in which, yo, like all this shit, yo, you have to defend people who are just not following the rules. People just want to sort of like, yo, like, everybody, let's follow these rules. Everybody, let's just focus more on our education, get you on par for a long, fulfilling life where you can read and write and do math. And this is the fight that, like, these people have to fight. They have to defend this. White guy, black kid, has to be racist. It has to be racist. This guy and his whiteness, me, man, bro, like, people got to put the brakes on this shit. People got to put the brakes on this shit hard and fast.
Yeah, and like the idea that he has in his mind.
Oh, wait, whoa. Are we about to get a John Idarola mind read? Trying to read the mind of a guy whose arguments you don't even understand. The bits and bobs that you've read of it, you bad faith spun the fuck out of all of it. But yet we're about to assume that John Idarola is going to read this superintendent's mind and what he's thinking, when he could have just read the man's op-ed and gotten a real good clear picture of why the guy did what he did. But can't do that. Let's make up a straw man of what the superintendent believes. Yeah, this shouldn't be unimaginably stupid.
There are certain haircuts that showcase respect, or certain haircuts that are like, that is America. And he thinks that that means something.
Wrong. He's saying there's a standard and there are rules. Follow the rules. You want to change the rules, get into the school board seat and change the rules. But me, every other child in that school's got to follow the rules. One kid doesn't want to follow them, therefore the rules are uncalled for, the rules are racist, and anybody who wants to apply the rules or see that the rules are followed, you're racist. And how dare you have a second's other thought about it? You, John Idarola, you fucking moron.
This is why when I say, like, you know, when I point out that someone like a Ben Shapiro, that people don't stress enough how the fact that he is a racist undercuts everything about his brand.
What is Ben Shapiro? So we're now talking about Ben Shapiro. I gotta tell you, I don't think I've ever heard Ben Shapiro use the phrase blackness. Your blackness. Oh, you're trying to put your blackness on somebody else. I don't think I've ever heard Ben Shapiro say something like that. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't listen to a lot of Ben Shapiro. Good God, like, I'm waiting on the unimaginably racist part. When do we get to the unimaginably racist part? Has anybody caught any of that yet? The unimaginably racist part. I must have missed it. I mean, maybe he gets to it, but I ain't seen that yet.
The idea that he is a logical thinker, that he's an intellectual. If you are a racist, your brain is broken and you can no longer accurately interpret or discuss reality. You just can't, because you think things for reasons that you don't understand that make no sense.
What the f are you talking about? Who's the racist here? You could disagree with Ben Shapiro on a lot of things. The man's not fucking racist. Shorty, your co-host right here, is 10 times more racist than Ben Shapiro ever been. But yet, yo, you're getting hyped up. Talk about how anybody who's racist has got a broken brain and they're not living in reality. Bro, what is your thought process? Anybody who's not a progressive is racist. That seems pretty stupid to me, dude.
It doesn't matter what his hair is. Like, you see the hair and you get mad. You have an emotional gut reaction to it. It's not an intellectual thing.
What are you talking about has a gut reaction and sees it and gets mad? You just imagine the fan base of the Young Turks who just sit here and listen to this shit, just get spun like a top on just the most dumbest, bad faith, ridiculous takes. Got the nerve to talk about dude gets mad when he sees it. He has a guttural reaction.
It's not a logical thing. It's not a necessary thing. And the fact that not only can you not overcome that feeling, but you don't even realize that you should try to, implies that you don't know how to function in the world anymore. Everything has to be exactly how it was, how you were trained to believe that it should be when you were a child. And if it wasn't, then that's disrespectful. When you could make the case that, I don't know, letting people wear their hair the way they want, so long as it's not physically hurting another person, that's respectful. Maybe that's sort of core to America, or the values that we want America to run by, rather than believing that buzz cuts are the only haircuts that should be acceptable in schools.
Bro, school districts across this country have rules. All of them. Private schools, public schools, some of them have more strict rules, some of them have far less strict rules. Yo is in a district with rules that apply to his hair. We're talking about hair. We're talking about a kid breaking the school district rules about how he's growing his hair. People just can't even have an honest conversation about somebody wanting to just follow the rules. It's nothing to do with the fact he's black. He could be fucking white. If the kid was trying to do his hair like that, they'd be telling him to cut his goddamn hair. But the fuck? And then you just imagine the white kid's mom talk about, man, we're not following the rules. We're not following your rules. My kid can do his hair any way he wants. It ain't hurt nobody. It ain't hurt nobody. But there's a lot of rules that if somebody broke them, doesn't imply that he would be hurting somebody. Not all rules are in place to stop people from hurting other people. Wow, bro. Like, and just got the audacity to just be as emotionally like arrogant about it. This guy he's talking about, he has no idea why he thinks the way he thinks. He just wants to keep things the way they were. He's so ignorant and so backward and can't have an open mind about nothing because he's just racist. He's just a racist. He's got no intellect, is what John Adirola says. Shit.
Sharon, thoughts?
And by your logic, it's also disqualifying. Because if he's so colored and everything else because of this racism that's inside of him.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I'm not listening to another fucking word of this. Unimaginably racist. Unimaginably racist. This is supposedly an unimaginably racist stunt. A school superintendent holding people accountable to the school district rules. Kid's black, it has to be racist. It has to be fucking racist. And anybody who doesn't think it's racist, you're just fucking ignorant. You're just stupid. You're closed-minded, and we shouldn't take your opinion about nothing. Because you don't default. Your default is racist. Bro, this is entirely Boy Who Cried Wolf shit. It's to the max. And meanwhile, y'all just can't even begin to recognize the damage, the fucking sheer destruction of all these words you use. Yo, y'all have just killed the word racist. You've killed the word racist, racism. You've got this false sense of certain people can't be it. Don't matter how much power those folks got, mayors, governors, presidents, senators, CEOs. It don't matter. They can't be it. They can't be racist. Don't matter how many of them got power no more. Don't matter how much the tables have turned or if the entire society has tried to get post all the bullshit history that we've had. Y'all just jam us right back into it. Just jamming it. And somehow have got this false sense of just ugly arrogance that you're the good ones. Bro, you all are the baddies. You're the fucking baddiest of baddies. Like the most bad. Get the out of here, bro. Like you all have cried wolf so much that don't nobody but your brain dead fan base has. Because that's what your fan base is. You got no talk. I know Shorty said brain dead like at least 2-3 times. John Adirola even dropped a brain dead in there once or twice. Bro, that's your fan base. Fucking gonna get us all in trouble. We all are just on the way down the toilet because of folks like the Young Turks and their subscriber base that had just been brought up in this ugly fucking wacky world where don't nobody want to make a better future. Everybody wants to play get back, pay back, and revenge. I ain't fucking playing that game. Because y'all are unimaginably, unfucking imaginably dangerous.